Hello, fellow investors. Hope you're well. So, there's a lot of uncertainty in the market right now. I see a lot of bearish sentiment where a lot of people are calling for the top of the market, saying that we're just going to see the downside from now. Let's just go into the charts and I'm gonna guide you through what are my trade setups and what am I looking at and where I think we're gonna go from here. Okay, so this is my chart of Bitcoin, and what do we see here? So we're seeing that Bitcoin is kind of ranging in this sideways move since about November. We haven't really moved much, okay? And we can see that it kind of tried to break the support, break the resistance around 106, 107, and then it's been holding this support around 91,000 very strong. Okay, and we can clean up the chart here just a little bit so we kind of have our major trend lines. So in general, we are still in the uptrend. Okay, so if you look at the cycle of Bitcoin, and we're gonna remove all the noise, and we're just gonna look at what has been happening since pretty much the end of 2022, beginning of 2023. We've been in this up move, okay? And when we see the up move, we basically see a run up, and after that we are seeing a little bit of a sideways move. Then we see a run up and we see a little bit of a sideways move. Then we see another run up and we see a little bit of a sideways move. And again, it's not ideal, but we just see big run ups and then we see the price staying within the range for some time, maybe breaking out a little bit and then breaking down, and then the price just keep going up and up and up. What I see very interesting here is that we had an upsloping trend line that was connecting the low of this market to this lows right here, and you can see that the Bitcoin went really high from this trend line. We also see we can say that we are seeing this trend line right here that is connecting these lows, and Bitcoin kind of went up really high from that trend line as well. And right now we have this trend line right here that again Bitcoin did not come back to. So now the question is, what is the next move for Bitcoin? I think that it might be determined by what we're gonna see in the stock market. So if we're gonna see an explosive move in the stock market to the upside, we might see the same with Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market. If we see downside in stocks, we might expect Bitcoin to pull back a little bit more. But the question too, if we're still in the bull market, I strongly believe that we're still in the bull market. Technicals are showing us that we're still in the uptrend because we're seeing an up move and a sideways chop, an up move and a sideways chop. And right now we've been just going within the sideways chop. Again, just in September, we were at $54,000. So we are pretty much double since, again, just a few months ago. Okay, so I think we're still good. I think there's still a lot of upside going into this bull market. This is a very major trend line that extends all the way back to the top of, sorry, let this chart load a little bit. It doesn't want to load, but anyway, it connects the high of the 2018 and it connects through the highs of here. There you go. So high of 2018 through the highs of 2021. and that's what we've been hammering into. Okay, so there's a lot of resistance right here. We still need kind of gain that power to break it to the upside. I'm a firm believer that we are going to break it. It's just a matter of time. However, I think that it is still possible that we might see a bigger pullback in Bitcoin. And the question is, where would that pullback go? So we have kind of a line that was resistance during this sideways move, and then the price broke out, and then technically we can go back and retest that trend line. That would put us at $65,000. I know a lot of people would hate for the Bitcoin to go to that level, but technically we can still go to that level and still be in the bull market. Okay, we can definitely retest this trend line. Seems like it right now it goes into this $91,000 range that has been a very strong support. What was interesting is that we had a huge sell-off in altcoins that happened right here on Monday, February 3rd. It was actually on Sunday, February 2nd, going into Monday. There was a very, very strong sell-off that kind of spooked everybody, and there were so many liquidations. I'm gonna go to the chart of Ethereum in a minute and talk about that. Basically, we had the biggest liquidation since COVID. Like the liquidation here was bigger than during the FTX flush out. Okay, so definitely interesting times right now. Again, we're still in the sideways move, so it's kind of 50-50. What am I doing with my position in Bitcoin? I actually recently added some Bitcoin to my position. For me, Bitcoin is kind of that safe haven asset, which a lot of financial advisors or whatever would probably argue with that. However, I really a firm believer in Bitcoin. I think it's that real neutral digital capital that will succeed in value compared to fiat money. For me, I'm just accumulating, I'm holding it, I'm not planning to sell anytime soon. This is kind of my, you can say, retirement money. Okay. So I did add some Bitcoin within this range right here between like 95, 96,000. And we'll see if we're gonna go lower. I'm definitely gonna look into adding more to my position. Okay, so that is about Bitcoin. Now let's jump into Ethereum and see what's going on with that. So I know Ethereum was very disappointing to many of you guys, and a lot of people are pretty much asking if Ethereum is dead, is it gonna recover? And here's what I can tell you. I noticed throughout years of investing that there is a very nice rule of investing, which is you want to buy things when they're cheap and you want to sell things when they're expensive. So the question is Ethereum expensive right now or is it cheap? Well, if you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin is past its all-time high. Bitcoin is ripping crazy high. It's going past $100,000, whereas Ethereum hasn't even broken the previous all-time high at like $4,800 that was in 2021. So from that standpoint, Ethereum is cheap. Okay. Compared to the rest of the crypto market, Ethereum, you can argue Ethereum is cheap. We had this long-lasting trend line going all the way back actually to 2022 low that was around $900 and connecting all these lows. And we recently, during that flush out on February 2nd going into Monday, February 3rd, we had this flush out that brought Ethereum to $2,100. That was crazy. So Ethereum kind of tricked a little bit because it was in this downsloping wedge right here. And when it started breaking up, I remember this day, what happened is a lot of people went into leveraged positions. And I don't trade on leverage because if the trade goes against you, you're going to get flushed out. And there's nothing that is 100% trade. So eventually you're going to get flushed out. You're going to get over leveraged and lose all your money. Okay. So that is the reason why I don't trade on leverage. However, there's a lot of people who do. And I can tell you that all of them end up losing the money. Okay, so that's what happened basically here. Like Ethereum started breaking out of this wedge, and everybody was thinking, wow, Ethereum's gonna go to the moon right now. So a lot of people made huge leverage positions for millions of dollars. There were a lot of influencers all around the internet saying that they put like crazy positions in Ethereum right here. And what happened? Boom, they all got liquidated. The amount of liquidations that happened here in Ethereum was insane. Okay, and that's basically what happens. You gotta flush that leverage out of the system. So now we're gonna remove all this downsloping wedge, and you can see Ethereum now is below its 200-day moving average, which is this red line, which is again indicating that usually it is cheap if you just trade based on moving averages. Because if you buy when Ethereum is below, kind of in the downtrend and below the 200-day moving average, in general, you're going to get a better price to sell when it goes above all of the moving averages. Okay? So that is one thing that you have to consider. Another thing is Ethereum network is in generally, so it is seeing a lot of upgrades. Recently, the gas fees got super low within like pennies. The speed of the network on layer 1 is improving, and especially again layer 2s are also going to improve because level 1 is improving. Also, you have to consider that Ethereum is the only truly decentralized network in terms of like it being a world computer. I'm not talking about Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is a little different. Like Ethereum is where again, DeFi and smart contracts are possible. So that might be the future of global finance. Okay. And if you think about it, if you have $1 billion portfolio, let's say real estate portfolio, and you're going to digitize that portfolio onto the blockchain, or you have, let's say, a huge hedge fund and you're going to digitize it into the blockchain, you're not going to use a freaking Solana. And I'm sorry to all of you guys who love Solana, but I'm just going to be straight honest with you. This is what I think. I might be wrong, but like hedge fund managers, they're not going to use freaking Solana that has a lot of network problems with it. Yeah, I know it's cheap, but first of all, Solana has a CEO. It's centralized. You can turn it off within a click of a button. And then there's a lot of like errors in transactions, and I think not all the transactions even work. So there's a lot of things. Like Solana is a meme coin thing, okay? Maybe for some, like gaming, whatever, but you cannot compare it to Ethereum, okay? Because Ethereum is like a truly decentralized network that can be used to transform a global economy. And if you don't believe me, like look at Trump. He's buying crazy amounts of Ethereum. I think his fund, World Liberty Financial, is owning about $500 million worth of Ethereum right now. Like Ethereum is actually their largest holding. Do you think they're dumb? Do you think that they wouldn't know that Ethereum is dead? And like, no, I'm pretty sure they understand that whenever we're gonna come to the digitalization of assets on blockchain, we need to pick a blockchain that's truly decentralized and that is trustworthy. and there's nothing better in terms of that than Ethereum. You can argue there's some other good ones, like there's XRP that, again, there's a lot of argument about is it truly decentralized, and then there's like HBAR, Hedera, there's like other stuff that can be promising. However, again, like right now, there is no better candidate than Ethereum. Okay, so I think Ethereum still has a very bright future. If you ask me, I personally think that Ethereum right now is cheap. I added to my position in Ethereum actually around like $3,400, like 3450, like right here when it did this kind of bottom and tail right here. I added, well, I'm down on that position right now. Again, I don't use leverage, so I don't care that the position is down. I'm not gonna plan. I'm not gonna sell anytime soon. I don't care. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy more. Now, when am I looking to buy more? I'm not looking to buy more exactly right now, because if you look at this pattern, so we had this big flush out. We actually had a very crazy bottom and tail, which might indicate reversal. However, a lot of times when Ethereum does this kind of patterns, when it does a flush out, it returns back to that level. Okay. And there's been multiple times when that happened. So what I'm looking at is I'm looking at potentially adding more to my position if it goes to around $2,200, maybe $2,100. Can it go lower? For sure it can go lower. Can it never reach that level? For sure it might just shoot up tomorrow. Nothing is guaranteed in the markets. However, I am happy with my Ethereum position right now. If it goes lower, I'm definitely going to add more. Okay, because I don't think Ethereum is going to go to zero. If somebody tells you that Ethereum is going to go to zero, I think this is just crazy. I really don't think it's going to happen. One more chart that I'm going to show you is this chart. And basically what this is, so this red line, and I'm sorry about that, it's a little wiggly. I don't know why it's happening. I'm not really a master of trading view, but I do understand charts. So basically here, this red line is a superimposed chart of the Fed balance sheet, and this is Ethereum to Bitcoin dominance. And right now, Ethereum to Bitcoin dominance stands very low. Like if you look at that, again, it's not shown here, but it's about 0.27, which is crazy. It's super low. And when it was right here, people were saying that it's never gonna go lower than that. Okay. And that was in 2022. So basically, right here, people were so bullish on Ethereum. Right now, people are so bearish on Ethereum, where it should be vice versa. Where it should be vice versa. When you see that the Ethereum dominance compared to Bitcoin shoots high up, you have to be bearish on Ethereum because it's all a cycle. You know, it trades in a cycle. Like sometimes Bitcoin goes higher, then it reverses and it goes lower compared to the rest of the altcoin market. Okay, so what also is very interesting is you can see that Ethereum dominance was at the top exactly when the QT started, which means that the Federal Reserve started to reduce in the size of their balance sheet. And you can see we're still in QT. During last meeting, Jerome Powell said that they're not going to change the policy of the balance sheet as of now. So we're still in QT, and there's a lot of people who are saying that we are still seeing Ethereum struggling because we're still in QT, and this might very well be. This might very well be the case. Because also, if you look at 2020, when or 2019 right here, we had our Ethereum dominance bottom exactly when QT ended and the Fed started QE, right? So again, there's a big chance that Ethereum will continue bleeding lower until QT ends, and nobody knows when that is going to happen. It probably will happen sometime this year, but until then, we might see continuous bleed in Ethereum. So again, right now, nothing is certain, but to me, Ethereum looks cheap right now. Looks like a great price. If I did not, I wish I didn't buy it around $3,500. I wish I would have bought it now. But I mean, I already have a lot of Ethereum, so I'm not gonna add at this point. I'm gonna wait until it bleeds crazy, goes to like $2,100, then I'm gonna add more. Okay. Um, so this is where Ethereum is right now. Um, so let's look at Tesla chart. So everybody's hating on Tesla right now, and again, when everybody's hating on something, I am usually become very bullish on the asset. I like Tesla in general. Some of you don't like Elon Musk, whatever. Uh, it's not about, like him or not, you just have to admit that the guy has the crazy ability to drive tech to the next level. So I also there's a lot of speculation about Tesla being just a car company. I don't think it's a car company, just a car company. Like it does have a lot of plans of becoming a technology company because it has, so first of all, has solar, like renewable energy. It has batteries. Well, you can argue that there's a lot of other companies who are working on batteries, and Tesla might be just being out of competition, which might very well be, but they also make robots, they also work on AI, their self-driving software is the best, they're working on a robot taxi. So there's just so much stuff that can happen to, bullish stuff that can happen to Tesla, that I personally think that this sell-off becomes a little bit ridiculous. Where do I plan to add? Like I own a lot of shares of Tesla. Where do I plan to add more? So I plan to add more right here, which is a very interesting level. It's a crossing of this upsloping trend line that connects this lows right here. And then we have this trend line right here that connects, and we can clean up the chart a little bit so it's not going to be as messy. Basically, it connects this pivot points right here. You can see there was a pivot high, pivot high, pivot high, pivot high, pivot high, pivot high. So definitely there's something about this level where price keeps bouncing, and there's also something about this trend line where the price comes into it and keeps bouncing. So if the price goes right here around 267, that would be a great buy. I'm probably not gonna wait until it goes right into 267. For me, probably 278, 280 is gonna be a good starting point to start accumulating more, and I'm gonna add more if it goes lower. Okay. So, but yeah, this sell-off, I mean, it's getting ridiculous. There's just so much hate towards Elon Musk right now. I think that's why. But we'll is definitely gonna see a good bounce. At least that's what I think. I mean, I can be wrong. It's not like I've never been wrong, but I think there might be a very good buying opportunity on Tesla for me very soon. S&P 500 is actually not looking too bad. So S&P 500 is looking pretty good. So we had this up move, And then right now we are in this sideways channel that is a little bit going to the downside, which is technically a bull flag. Okay, which means that if we see an upsloping move and then like a strong up move, and then we can see a channel that trades a little bit to the downside sideways, that is usually a bull flag, which means that it's about 70% chance that it's going to break to the upside, and it's about 30% chance that it's going to break to the downside. Okay, where do I see support? I see support, so it's been trading within this range for a very long time, since 2023. I think that it would take a lot of bad news in the market to break this channel. So if it goes right here, for me, that'd be a good buy level. And then there's also some trend lines right here that there's a pivot high, pivot low, pivot low, pivot high. Definitely this trend line would be very interesting. That'd be a good pullback if it happened. Okay. So what's also interesting is gold. Gold is ripping high. Yep. Gold is going nuts, almost $3,000 per ounce. So it's interesting that the Bitcoin is not seeing that much of an up move compared to gold. But you know, Bitcoin might catch up soon. Alright guys, so this is what I think about the markets. I still think that we are in the bull market. I believe that we are going to see a lot of upside on Bitcoin and Ethereum this year, maybe going into next year, but probably there's a good chance that we're gonna see an explosive up move this year and might see a pullback, like a strong pullback after that. But again, remember, this is not a financial advice. Markets are extremely unpredictable and nobody really knows what is going to happen to the markets. So please read the disclaimer down below. And remember, if you want to put money into something, you probably need to get your situation analyzed by a financial advisor and do your own research. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please drop like button and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.